Live from Rialto, California. Allies, cohorts. The only film, entertainment, and conspiracy theory podcast on Spreaker.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you The Mark and Andre Show. And here are your hosts, Mark and Andre. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another great installment of the Mark and Andre Show. I'm your host, Mark Flores, and with me is my co-host, Andre Gaynor.
What's up, guys?
And with us is a very special guest, longtime friend of ours, Isaiah Martinez.
Hey
Isaiah,
guys, nice to meet you.
Again.
thank you for coming on board. I know that you have a very busy schedule, and I'm glad to have you on board. Andre, same thing. I know you have you have to head off to Italy next week. Next week being Monday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How's that going for you?
Oh, man, it's horrible.
It's horrible going to Italy, isn't it? The travel schedule and all that.
Man, I'm afraid of planes.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Mark and Andre Show, the only film, entertainment, and conspiracy theory podcast on Spreaker.com. We like providing you with the current events of film and entertainment and new conspiracy theories. And we like doing it with a comedic touch. And that I think gives us the unique fingerprint to that of what the show is. Other than that, let's get the commercials out of the way. Tonight's Mark and Andre podcast show is brought to you by none other than our proud sponsor, Game Swappers. Game Swappers, buy, sell, and trade your retro games and next-gen consoles. That's PS4 and Xbox One. You can come into contact with Game Swappers via Instagram at GAMESWAPPERS. That's GAMESWAPPERS. Game Swappers, buy, sell, and trade. Keep in mind, guys, that if you do share any which show on the Mark F podcast channel, which is Retro Collecting 101, where I give you tips on how to amass a retro collection very quickly and efficiently, or the pay-per-view wrestling podcast, where I give you WWE wrestling entertainment updates and analysis, or the current show you're listening to, the Mark and Andre podcast show. You'll be able to get 10% off towards your game purchase at GameSwappers.com via online or in person, or if you're in the interest of selling your games off, you can actually get 10% more towards your trade-in credit. Simply take a screenshot, share it through any means of social media, and show the person working at Game Swappers that day. And you'll be able to get 10% off or 10% more towards your retro game trade-ins. One more announcement Game Swappers wanted me to make is this Sunday is our Retro Respect event from 12 to 7 over at the Finish Line Sports Bar and Grill, where we hold our barcade nights. We're going to have a free buy, sell, and trade event where with 20 plus vendors, we'll be able to buy, sell, and trade with other vendors from around the community. It's free to attend, and there will be food and drinks available to purchase at Finish Line Sports Bar and Grill, located near the Fairplex.
Nice. Off the top of the head.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I do it so much that I am used to it. I've done it, this is our 78th episode. This is the 78th episode of the Mark F podcast channel, which includes the other 3 podcasts. And I haven't done Retro Collecting 101 in a long time, so which I have to get back to. But that's neither here nor there.
Guys, more there than here.
Right.
Yes, exactly. One segment that I wanted to get to at the very spur of the moment was the unforgivable YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm. It's the 10th year anniversary of the
I went to Levine's yesterday.
Get some pants for me and my niggas. I was gonna steal them. I had no money.
This guy, what's his name? What was his YouTube handle is Hodge Stanson, but he doesn't have the YouTube channel anymore.
No, I think he deleted it, and what our speculation is that he tried to get a job of some kind, and I think that they researched him, and that's the first thing that popped up.
He's like, you're the Unforgivable guy, dude. You're funny.
Are you familiar with the Unforgivable series?
No.
So
what?
Andre, tell them tell the audience.
That's actually great. That's perfect.
Yeah. Tell the audience what it's about.
Honestly, it's one of those things that went viral for almost no reason.
The oddest reason.
Yeah. It's so. Basically, it's just this guy. First of all, it's shot in black and white. Okay. And it's just this black dude in the woods.
Okay.
Yes.
And he's just telling the most... the most obnoxious and raunchy story from the perspective of a character named Ricky. Okay. And people don't know that he's acting. So they just think this is this ignorant dude out in the woods saying this crazy story. And initially he only did one, right? And he's just saying, I can't, like, we're going to have to play it for you. But it's so over the top, right? It's just graphic. Yeah. It's rude. But it's so obnoxious, you know it's fake.
He explains a date where he actually goes on a date with a girl. And the way he approached her is he asked her what that smelled like.
What that smell like?
And from then on, he goes on with this date with her, takes her to an arcade, and then proceeds to rob her, and then take her out. Oh no, takes her to Chick-fil-A to get free food.
No, he told her to go to the counter to get the food, but for free. He doesn't want her to pay for it. Go get the food for free. But there are so many iconic lines that come from it. It doesn't work for us to try to explain it to you, but I guess the best way to describe it is just this guy. Like, let's just go from the average perception of how it was received.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just a black dude in the woods telling a crazy story. And he's in the woods and he's talking like this, nigga. That's how he talks. And he did about 4 or 5 of these. 4 or 5. And he went unbelievably viral. Like, it's just like, it's crazy how viral it went. And this was like in the era of YouTube where going viral was a big deal. You know, like,
what year did that?
10 years ago.
Yeah,
2006.
2006.
Okay. And it's one of the most quoted YouTube videos. Like, if you ever heard somebody say something, and some waffle fries, that's from Unforgivable. Yeah. Or if they just say some crazy jacked up thing and they say, is that Unforgivable?
So is his series like on that page where he does a lot of different stories in the woods?
Yes. Yeah. He's still in the woods, still black and white. And here's what makes it like even more like, okay, this guy's just out acting crazy. Because the guy filming is laughing.
Yeah.
It's just some dude laughing and he's like, he's dying the whole time. I can't tell you the formula of what makes it perfect, but it's just one of those things like when you watch it, it's like, this is incredible. I don't know how to describe it. It's just, it's one of those things that it went viral because of its magical essence. And then everyone on YouTube tried doing Unforgivable stories, but they could never match the magic of the
exactly.
original.
Once he did it, it started taking off. I heard about it 2 years after it came out, and you and I have been watching it. We watch Unforgivable probably like 3 times a year, just to like get back into it. And we watched the whole playlist. Yeah, this guy went on from different stories to where he goes to this party with his friends. He's all like, "It's me, Bo Weiss, and Van, and all my homies have hands." Like. And he has a homie named Orpheus, too.
A homie named Orpheus. Like, a lot of the weird thing about him and the way he does his character, he's this ignorant hood dude, yet he has these intellectual moments.
Yeah, where he tells people that they fleed, or he's like, then I proceeded to conjure up another lie.
Or I stole my homeboy's credit card to buy, like, books off of Amazon. And you already know it was an all-Scandinavian affair. And then he goes on to list, like, 5... Scandinavian authors for no reason.
Even in the story where he goes to spend the one night and for 2 weeks straight at his girl's house, he proceeds to tell them, he's all like, I brought some DVDs over. He's like, what'd you bring? Dr. Zhivago, A Brief Encounter, and A Bridge on the River Kwai. The Brief Encounter is a sci-fi movie. Dr. Zhivago is like this semi-romance type of movie, which is still weird. And then The Bridge on the River Kwai is a war movie.
Yes.
And I'm just like, damn, like his perspective on all 3 movies, it's funny because you don't expect that coming out of a hood guy.
Right. And I guess the way it plays off is just like, we'll just say it's randomness, but it's a randomness that works so perfectly that he pulled it off like 6 times in a row.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I think he tried to continue, but the viral magic kind of died down. And then eventually...
when he released that Unforgivable in color, that one, it was hot off the presses when we first watched it.
Right.
It still had a lot of views, but I mean... Now we went back to it, and we didn't go to watch Unforgivable for about 1.5 years, and his channel's deleted.
Yeah.
The channel that we really go to, like I will type in his YouTube channel to give him the views, it's not there anymore.
Right.
So what is he alive?
He apparently
checked. On the way back home from Utah, we were on an Unforgivable thing, and we were like, hey man, Andre, check if he's alive still.
And we checked, and he moved to Hollywood after it went viral, and that's the last time.
Because he went to New York first after he went famous, and then he went to Hollywood. And now he's like what? What was his job? He had a regular job, didn't he?
He was like a screenwriter.
Yeah, he was a screen. Oh, well, they had no regular job. That's a hard job to do.
Right. So we don't know what happened to him, but at this rate, I mean, congratulations on the 10th year of this very strange YouTube experience.
Yes.
If you guys have not seen
Unforgivable,
I mean, I don't think I can hype it. Really, it's one of those things. It's just you watch it and it's
Yeah.
an experience. It's an experience, and you almost have to consider it as something that could be immature, but at the same time, you have to realize this was created with, I don't know, like very intellectual intentions. So I don't know, just watch it and laugh, man. It's a funny series, and it sparked this huge like run of people actually doing unforgivable stories. So. Congratulations. So what do we say? Like happy 10th anniversary? Because I think it was very hilarious. Yay!
So no, and now to get to the meat of the segment that I was going to get to is that
I was gonna do a standing ovation.
I know, yeah, I know.
I was gonna do that.
No, but there's so much
pop
pop.
some champagne and all this extra stuff.
The thing about Unforgivable now is that if people watch it that weren't born during our time now we're talking people like in the mid. And not in their mid-teens, but early teens, 13-year-old to 19, they will find this probably offensive.
Right.
They will
man.
probably find it offensive.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
in this politically correct culture where you really can't say anything outlandish,
The society has grown too PC for something like Unforgivable to come out and actually work.
Because this guy in this series talks about slapping people in the mouth with the butt of his gun, and it's funny to me and you, but like
because you know it's satire and it's ridiculous for the sake of being ridiculous.
But that's the thing about PC today is that no matter what, you can't have someone saying stupid stuff like that,
right? And people today would definitely, because he not only attacks people, no, he primarily attacks women.
Yes, exactly.
He's attacking women. He's hitting them with the butt of his gun. He's like raping them.
He's always sneaking guns into places and hitting women with the butt of his gun.
Right,
at carnivals.
And just doing very obnoxious things. So it would be offensive to a number of these groups. One, black people will be offended because it puts them in a negative light. Two, women would be offended because it's like these misogynistic lines and he's abusing women and raping them. Yeah. And then parents and other groups would be offended because he's cussing and talking about dark subject matter.
Yeah, he even calls people faggot from time to time.
Right. Oh yeah, we'll get some other groups involved that are just not happy with what he did. And I don't get it because that's a really good sign that society was just open to anything because it went viral. Everybody saw this at one point.
And
I guess everybody.
You wouldn't want to see this repeatedly if it offended you,
right?
And I would imagine that there was repeat listeners repeat watchers because you and I ourselves were repeat watchers.
Is this the same guy that they have memes for, where they're like, the only kind of cooking you're gonna do is?
Oh, that's Ike Turner.
Oh, okay.
That's Ike Turner. This guy has a completely different haircut. And he was. He's about 40 years too late. But Ike Turner did beat Diana Ross.
Right.
And that's not even a funny thing. He did it for real. The Unforgivable
Tina
guy.
Turner.
Oh, Tina Turner.
Diana Ross.
Well, he probably
beat her too. Just rolled up on Diana Ross.
Too.
She probably went to a Supreme show and then caught her slipping.
Tina, call Diana Ross. Bring her over here.
So I can slap her. Bing boom. Good save, by the way. Isaiah just got done watching the first one, or halfway through the first one. And what's your impression?
Offensive.
I think I can tell that it's because they're laughing. He's laughing himself. The cameraman's laughing, and then it does seem like kind of over the top. Like he's talking real dramatic. Like and I told her that she's gonna do this. Or something like that. Yeah, it's like and it's out in the woods.
Yeah, like for no reason.
Yeah,
he's all crunching on leaves,
and it's like you're trying to piece together what is happening here, and I think that's what makes it this abstract experience.
And he's like looking all serious, like kind of in the camera, but it's not like for real.
Yeah, it's like a
Why
joke.
would you be that serious
about this crazy story? Like,
and you're way in the woods, like alone.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the funny thing is that he's still a brother in the woods,
right?
Which you probably will never catch a brother doing like here anyway.
He even addresses himself as this nigga out here in the woods. Like it's this nigga out here in the woods at like every beginning of the follow-ups, but
it's almost like he shouldn't be in the woods.
Right.
He should be somewhere else, like in the city.
He should be in the hood, right?
Like in the city, in the urban area.
He's in the middle of nowhere in the woods.
No, but he's in the woods.
Did the guy filming like snickering while he's filming? Did that kind of help?
I think it did. I think it kind of provided a a sense of like these guys are just kidding around. Like,
Imagine if it was,
because if it was just straight cuts and him being offensive,
what
I don't
comedy?
know.
This isn't a comedy. I'm like, whoa, this guy was for real the whole time. We got to prosecute him.
You know, because having his homeboy laugh and him laugh because he breaks character more than once, it just lets you know they're fucking around, and I think that is what also makes it this human experience or something. I don't know, man. Yeah. But every time I watch it, when they start laughing, I laugh because it's like. I know I'm saying something stupid. There's even a point where he's like, "Okay, that was too offensive." Like,
yeah, that's not even right. I remember that.
That's not even right because he says something crazy about incest or something.
Yeah, something incest related in the later
joke.
Unforgivable.
But no, I mean,
so why unforgivable though? Why? Is
because at the end of the story, he goes, "Is that unforgivable?" And because it's like the most jacked up thing you could do, and then he ends the story like.
Does he answer his own question? Or
never. He never.
It's not even self-reflection.
Tosses a question in the air, and that's all you get, and then the next one starts.
Let's see, but I like that. Does he do that in every episode?
Every episode. Every episode ends with him. Is that we're gonna watch it? We'll watch it afterwards.
Does he ever change up the background?
No, he's still.
It's all black and white.
All black and white.
The last Unforgivable he does, from what I know, he does it in color.
Yeah, he does it in color, and he's still in the woods.
And it's funny too because at this last one, he's in a Spanish league soccer jersey for Valencia Football Club. It's a Spanish Spanish football club, and he's wearing their jersey and he's wearing their scarf. It's just funny. It shows you like how this guy's like tastes are compared to this character named Ricky.
It's like he's a contradiction, and that color one specifically, he breaks character and he talks like us. Like he talks like how I talk.
Yeah.
From this super hood dude to this very
you're not
intellectual.
white?
Shut up.
There's been so many people that tell me he talks white, and I'm like, no.
How do you talk?
Well, then again, it's like I've been hearing him talk for like 10 years already.
Hey, what's up, homie? We back here with the Mark and Andre show. You know what I'm saying? We about to hit a 40 real quick.
Wow, everyone's like, finally! He talks right.
Andre I've been waiting for. Hey, what's
That's
up,
an Andre right there.
Hey, look, real talk. I read the comments, man. The jig's up, bruh. The jig's up. The jig's up. This is what I am. The jig's up, bruh.
So check this out. This 10 years ago now, this was honestly the first viral video.
Really?
One of the first. Definitely.
One of the first, besides Ninja Man.
This was before Kimbo Slice and all that?
Around the same time, because I remember seeing Kimbo Slice in 2005, 2004.
Right.
And then see this guy, rest in peace, Kimbo Slice.
Well, I mean, okay, this was around the time where YouTube still wasn't exactly, it was more of a sharing site.
Where we could still access it in high school libraries.
Exactly. And, it wasn't a huge business that it is, the business that it is now. So when it went viral, we didn't really have even like Facebook to share it like that, MySpace
Facebook wasn't even going to let you share. You would have to. Long story short, you would have to share it through image source codes.
Right. And I just remember everybody was watching it though, and everybody was referencing it. Like everybody did the punchlines, or we'll be just chilling and some more fries. Like I don't know why, but it's just one of those things where I was like, I think it's just its own magical thing, and it can't be recreated. Because he did try to come back like down the road some years later and keep doing Unforgivable, and it didn't work. But I don't know. Just I'm really glad that I had the experience of this random thing. It's one of those things where it's like, what the hell am I experiencing? And I think everyone should just mess with it, try it out. At this point, though, I don't know. Everyone's PC now, so I'm like, if they watch it now and they've never seen it before, it could really be offensive. It could do some damage.
Who's that? Oh, that's just my little brother. It's like, bitch, you better have no little brother.
That's a mistake.
That's a mistake. That's a mistake. For you, girl, you got siblings, and I don't like it.
It's so dumb. Like nothing makes sense. So yeah, check out Unforgivable. Let us know what you think. If it's offensive to you, then hit us up.
Yeah, let us know either on my Instagram at Mark F's Modern Life or the official Mark and Andre Twitter account, Mark F's Podcast.
Yeah,
you'll be able to let us know.
Do it.
You can also let Andre know on Lyricology 101.
Yeah, I'm at Instagram Lyricology 101. You can hit me up, message me, or Twitter at Lyricology Tips if you can remember all of that.
Was there any final thoughts you wanted to bring about Unforgivable before we go on to the next segment?
It was a perfect piece of its time, and I don't think it could ever happen again.
Unforgivable, definitely something. Perfect place, perfect time. Now in the era of social media where this thing could have caught like wildfire. It probably wouldn't because of the PC culture that we live in, due to the fact that a lot of people are more sensitive towards issues regarding homosexuality, like being pro gay. That's great and everything, but it's like this wouldn't have worked during this time because people would have taken offense, despite it being a satire or not.
And we are in a feminist battle era, so all of the stuff that he said against women, it just wouldn't fly, and it would go viral in the wrong way. It would go viral in the way of like,
because that's what I was going to touch on too.
Yeah, it would like recently when a person does something offensive, they
look
get
what
fired.
He's doing.
Yeah, look what he's doing. Get him fired, and he gets fired from his job. Like
Yeah.
he would have been kicked out of whatever he was a part of.
So the unforgivable guy kind of was playing chess this whole time because he knows that
it's crazy to upload that.
People would have.
I don't think he expected that though. I think he did it just for a goof.
And now he might get heat for it because imagine seeing this on your resume, like, oh, I'm the unforgivable guy.
Get him out of here.
You better hope your guy interviewing you is like a guy. Oh, you're that guy? That's funny, but you're totally not the guy for the job. We don't like hate mongers. No,
I was already profiling you when you came in, but now I've confirmed.
There's no woods around here. Get out of here. So the next thing we want to talk about too is one of the reoccurring topics that we have, Hollywood remakes. And this summer has so many bombs you would swear. Had a lot of bombs this year, man. Star Trek Beyond.
You would swear. No other follow up.
I like that.
You would swear. Period. The end. ... And then you have to fill in the blanks yourself.
In a world where Hollywood has so many bombs that you got to wear bomb prevention suits to defuse these movies.
That's a great take, John. That's a good take. We'll keep that one. We're gonna go with that one.
So Star Trek Beyond's didn't make as much money because J.J. Abrams didn't direct it.
Of course.
The Ben-Hur, this new Ben-Hur movie. Ben-Hur back in the day with Charlton Heston was a success because Charlton Heston at the time was one of the premier actors. This Ben-Hur has two people playing the protagonist and the antagonist, plus a dreadlocked Morgan Freeman, which kind of still doesn't make sense to me. This whole movie is expected by Paramount to tank.
How much went into the budget? It was about
$100 million.
$100 million.
You have to understand with the ancient Roman decor that it has, you have to spend a lot. Because you have to make the mock-ups, you have to make the garbs,
shoot on location for some scenes.
Man. It's very costly. We're talking triple, $100 million plus. And now it's not even expected to make $20 million. I think it only made $10 million at the box office this week.
It premiered this week, right?
Yeah. So let me get to the key point here. Will Hollywood Will Hollywood ever learn?
I made 10% of what I put into this movie. Like producers flipping out right now.
Will Hollywood ever learn that remakes and new movies based on bland characters will they realize it'll never work?
Well, I mean, in the case of Ben-Hur, it is a film that. We did discuss this before, but it's just kind of like they go through the files. Well, what was popular? What worked? And then they flip through their files.
What worked in the 60s?
Right. Oh, Ben-Hur! They know that name! And then they start producing it.
Yeah.
And in this case, nobody was asking for this.
No, except probably a lot of people at the Senior Citizen Center. I came to see Ben-Hur for a matinee at $7.50.
So they didn't even pay the full price, so they're not even getting their money
and
even there.
Not even in regards to Ben-Hur, but I recently saw a trailer to a movie based on a Hasbro toy that I thought I would never see come to life. Max Steel. The toy Max Steel. Not even Johnny Quest, but we're talking Max freaking Steel is coming out with a movie from Paramount.
And I saw the trailer.
Yes,
it's
you and I both.
It's like... They just took. Are you looking up the trailer now?
We have
Isaiah. Like Isaiah's just in the cold on this one. Like everything we're talking about, he's just like, what? He's raising his eyebrows, trying to figure out what's going down.
Yeah.
But the Max Steel trailer is honestly, it looks exactly like Spider-Man. Like it has all of
which one? Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield?
Doesn't matter. It has all of the beats. It has all of the beats of the first Spider-Man film.
Okay.
Both the remake and the original.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm just this kid in a new city and I don't know what's going on. And then they go, oh, you have a special ability. Oh,
the
dude,
Superman
that's crazy.
tropes.
Oh, man, I
You
have
will do
powers
something.
now.
You will do something.
Yeah,
you need your powers.
Right, you'll be the chosen one. Oh, I'm chosen for what, dude? And then next thing you know, he's doing a compilation of blowing things up with his mind.
Totally Kyle meets Max Steel.
Exactly. And it was just a disappointment to see. And it just looks lifeless. I see no soul in it. And
that's the thing.
Who's going, I need this?
That's the unfortunate thing about these kind of movies is that you need a lead actor to be the anchor for these movies. You can't just have, like, with Spider-Man. Spider-Man is a franchise bold enough and, like, has a lot of prestige enough to have a new character regardless. Andrew Garfield. We didn't know about Andrew Garfield before he did The Amazing Spider-Man.
True.
So with Tobey Maguire, he had a career before he did Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. And
this guy, I don't know who this guy is in the Max Steel. He's fighting what, a Capri Sun? A Capri Sun, like a Capri Sun monster?
Fighting Alex Mack or something?
For you guys that haven't seen the Max Steel trailer, yes. A, let me answer two questions. A, yes, they are making a Max Steel trailer. And B, yes, they are really making a Max Steel trailer.
Movie, actually.
Not even the trailer, but the movie itself. And
he even wears a jacket, like his sweatshirt has the logo of...
that was a drone shot. You saw that?
Yes. He has the Max Steel logo on his shirt. He's like at high school just chilling, and he has the Max Steel logo on.
And like the Capri Sun enters his body. Oh, well, the Capri Sun, but like the thing that, I guess, that has the Max Steel powers. Anyway, well, the Max Steel trailer is going to be, the Max Steel movie is actually going to be a movie that people will look at 20 years from now and wonder why we even did it. Because, I mean, the box office will show this movie is going to tank. I could see it within the trailer. These monsters look so typical.
Right. They look typical, and they didn't put much effort into the CG and all of the aspects of what would make a film interesting. I almost feel it looks like I'm watching it now. He's showing me some
his
clips.
eyes turn blue.
No, but okay, this is supposed to be clips from the actual film. This looks like something out of like the modern Power Ranger episodes.
It looks like they're showing the main scenes too.
Right, like they're showing a little too much right now. Like,
whoa,
they're all showing the ending.
No,
that must be the show, dude.
That has to be some show or something. But
no, that says the trailer, man.
No.
Get out of here.
I hope not.
I'm not kidding you.
Don't play me.
No,
we're all struggling. Anyway.
I know,
but so far, what I saw, it wasn't good, and I'm afraid. I'm just afraid that Hollywood is going to get to the point where they're not going to go for an original idea anymore.
Exactly.
And we're just going to have to go to Sundance and watch indie films because no one's going to try anything new.
Yeah, I doubt we'll ever see any original ideas come around our way for a while. To me, I feel that the Max Steel movie is going to be one of the many more bombs that Hollywood will risk making because there might be a chance. Like, I think Hollywood sees movies like Ben-Hur remake and then the Max Steel toy line become movie. Mm-hmm. I think they think of this opportunity as the opportunity to strike while the iron's hot. But with Ben-Hur, I mean, we're talking a movie from the 60s.
That iron is ice cold, brother.
Yeah, exactly. In terms of Ben-Hur, and then with Max Steel is only made for a niche audience. I barely remember Max Steel, but I didn't watch the movie.
What do you think?
I mean, not the movie, but the cartoon.
What do you think about like Mad Max? That was like a remake.
Oh yeah, Mad Max.
Well, Mad Max was a play on.
No, Mad Max was a sequel. Actually,
yeah.
It was a sequel, but I guess this is what they do now. It's called soft rebooting, or it's like they'll make a film that's a sequel, but technically it's rebooting the franchise.
Yep.
So Terminator Genesis is the best example of a soft reboot.
Oh man.
X-Men First Class was 100% the best example of a soft reboot of the X-Men franchise because we're basically at the end of the old X-Men franchise. Yeah. And then we go back in time and we start the way over.
Me and Isaiah ended up recommending X-Men First Class to someone last night.
I don't hate
it. It's fun. It's a good movie.
First Class isn't a problem, but the message I'm trying to pass on is that they're soft rebooting. So now we have to start all over again and do the series.
Yeah, and with what you're saying, there are hits and there are misses.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and then what followed that? It was X-Men 2-Pocalypse, right?
X-Men 2-Pocalypse.
A bunch of Tupacs
coming
around.
X-Men Days of Futures Past, which was really good. Oh, really?
Like
good.
the Days of Christmas Past?
And then, where Wolverine met his younger Wolverine, and he had to correct the mistakes in order for him to not be such a cheap ass. Yeah, Scrooge McWolverine. No, but with after Days of Futures Past, you had X-Men Age of
I
Apocalypse.
said First Class, didn't I?
Yeah,
I meant Days of Future Past. That's the soft reboot.
No. You're right in terms of the X-Men
Starting from
reboot.
scratch and going again.
X-Men's First Class.
But they concluded the old timeline, the old original X-Men. And
Not necessarily concluded, but with X-Men's Days of Futures Past, X-Men 1, 2, and 3 from the 2000s is now X-Made.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
They concluded the original trilogy in that film.
New Destiny.
Well,
right.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of conclusion as in form of like, that puts not an end to that. No, that completely wipes it out.
No,
it never existed.
It
never existed.
Now it's disappeared.
Yes, exactly.
But Genesis tried to go that same route, and not only did they ruin the entire franchise, like
I'm back.
the entire timeline is broken.
Listen to me. You have to come with me if you want to live again. Get down again.
Every scene is just the same thing again.
Again. I've been waiting for this.
Now, how did they mess up the timeline? Because I never watched that one.
Terminator Genesis?
All right, so Terminator Genesis, they literally send a new Terminator. They send two Terminators back into two separate timelines within the Terminator universe, but they technically erase like two other timelines. So
yeah,
so
2 and 3 doesn't exist
I'll
now.
show you a video. There's a video.
Like Zelda now, man.
It's worse than Zelda, dog.
Yeah, Zelda's a lot more. The Zelda timeline's a lot more coherent
I don't
than
even
the Terminator.
consider like Zelda
because it's a
timeline.
younger Sarah Connor.
Yeah, a younger Sarah Connor
that hasn't gave birth to John Connor.
Exactly, but she knows she's supposed to. So she's
my
racing
gosh.
back to the point where she meets John Connor so she can get impregnated the exact same way.
Christian
with
Bale
the
just-
same egg somehow and the same sperm and create John.
Yeah.
Not John Connor.
What?
I forgot the dude.
The guy who impregnates Sarah
I
Connor?
forgot his name. We sound
Kyle
like amateurs.
Reese.
Kyle Reese. There we go.
Yeah.
So she's racing to get back to that exact moment. She's supposed to meet Kyle Reese and get impregnated. She's never done it before because it's a new timeline. So somehow the exact same egg and the exact same sperm at the exact same moment happen to collide, and she gets impregnated the exact same way and continues the timeline. It's nonsense. So the entire franchise gets broken because they send Arnold Schwarzenegger back to when she was a child to protect her. No, don't worry. Don't even try to piece it together. It's going to hurt. It doesn't make sense. Genesis was an awful idea, but guess what? Now it's rebooted, and they can do whatever they want from this point forward and just keep going.
Which they shouldn't, because right now it's like it is really off limits. Terminator Genesis financially didn't do well as they expected. Even with Terminator Salvation, they just totally bought that was a botch from beginning to end.
Mistake.
Like, they just tried to capitalize on Christian Bale's Dark Knight thing, and then they were just like, well,
Oops.
shit. Who let McG direct this? Damn it. The Charlie's Angels guy? Damn it.
Well, here's our point.
In terms of remakes, even with Salvation and Genesis, I mean, you don't have to.
You don't have to do this.
They didn't even need to do Terminator 3.
No, they didn't.
Terminator 2 could have been rebooted at the 40th, the 50th anniversary, the 30th Supreme Blu-ray edition. They could have made so much money.
But
they just tried to do it.
They kept going because the reality is they'll put someone at the helm that really doesn't care about the franchise. And they'll go, I have my own ideas, and I think I can take it in a new direction.
Well,
and like someone like J.J. Abrams, for example, he did a phenomenal job because he's a great visionary. But still, what they did was they brought back Star Trek, and the reality is Star Trek fans were upset.
Because there was less technical fluff.
Less
and
technical
it was more
fluff,
of an action movie.
It was like a Michael Bay film to them, where Star Trek had
more
its
lens
own,
flares too.
Lens flare. But I mean, just in reality, what is going on in Hollywood is they just. I'm at this point where no original idea is going to make it.
So
through.
let me ask you this then: what separates franchises like Star Wars and Terminator? Like, why does Star Wars has this good pace now? We gotta wait for Rogue One now. What separates these two franchises? Is there more attention to detail,
cultural impact, and attention to detail in the original films?
Yeah,
that's it. If you watch, the reality is, and we've talked about this. Yeah. Do you remember Terminator 1? Have you even watched Terminator 1?
Bits and pieces. Yes.
Bits and pieces. That's a great answer. Same here. I think I saw it. I might have saw it, but it didn't last with me. But Terminator 2 is so well done that it's like you can't even fathom the first one being there in its relation to the second film. It almost feels like Terminator 2 is the first Terminator film.
Probably, to me,
it's the only one.
Yeah.
But, they kept going. All right, another example. Let's see.
Get down.
I mean, yeah, Star Wars is going to continue, but it had a cultural impact that was infinite. Like, it still goes on forever.
Based on box office, we can't really we can't really say that 1 through 3, episode 1 through 3 were bad.
Well, we can't necessarily say that. You got to go by responses. Let's not go by critical response. Okay. Let's not go by how much it made, because obviously that's the point of what we're talking about. A reboot's going to make money.
Okay. Right. In terms of unsuccessful reboots like Ben-Hur and I already know Max Steel ain't going to be Ben-Hur.
Shit it up, Ben-Hur.
And let's go back with Max Steel, because I know for damn sure that thing's not going to make money.
It's going to bomb.
Quote me.
It's going to bomb.
But so let's say this. Let me go to the meat of this segment. I was like, how can Hollywood avoid making bombs like they did with Ben-Hur, and I say did as in past tense because it's not going to make money. G.I. Joe, the last Matrix movies, and like what can Hollywood do to make sure they don't, they can avoid making bombs like this?
You're going to need the right casting, man. It's casting, and it's the right director and casting.
It's the right director, and we need a script that doesn't pander to the mainstream audience. They just need to stick with the lore and trust it.
Like a trailer that doesn't spoil the whole movie.
Also, that marketing is a huge factor as well. But let's see, because there is a huge argument going. Like, Jurassic World did incredible numbers.
Yes, it did.
It did incredible numbers, but people were so upset at the film. If you guys remember the original Jurassic Park film, it made history.
Visionary director from Steven Spielberg. This incredible CGI.
Cast, incredible CG. Yeah. But it was CG that was so well implemented because they used practical sets and they mixed it with animatronics. Yeah. It was so well done. If you watch the film today, even the older versions, it still looks great.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's timeless.
It does.
It's timeless.
It is.
Also, Steven Spielberg understood how to shoot scale. He understood to create intensity in a scene. Yeah. If you're locked in a car and a T-Rex is trying to eat you, that is intense.
Yeah, the buildup from the water reverberating in the cup to where the only thing preventing the T-Rex from eating you was that glass.
That one glass, and he's looking at it.
And even some comedic humor in there when the guy was in the toilet. And,
yes. Before he took his L. And having Jeff Goldblum in there.
Jeff Goldblum,
saying his own name?
hold on, just 1 minute. And
on top of that, one key element of Jurassic Park is that he shot from the perspective of us. He shot from the person's perspective. So when you look at a dinosaur from your own personal perspective, it's incredible.
Yeah, from the vantage point of where it was behind the car in the mirror, that was beautiful. I could have just seen that on the storyboard.
That's attention to detail, guys.
The raptor scene.
The raptor scene it's intense. Yeah. You feel it.
You're underneath the counter with the kids.
You don't have a gang of guns. It's just two kids, and you're in a kitchen, and raptors are coming after you.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward to Jurassic World.
Not directed by Spielberg.
Not directed by Spielberg, which is fine, but still, if it's not directed by Spielberg, we need to have that same level of attention and detail. The question that we should ask also is, should we have another Jurassic Park? Why is it here? Okay, you saw Jurassic World. Was it a necessary sequel? Did it push any ideas forward in the Jurassic Park's franchise?
I could tell you this. Let me give you some foreground to what I'm going to say now. With this Jurassic World movie, it actually totally ex-nayed number 2 and 3. It's actually per the timeline. This is all nerd talk. Per the Jurassic Park timeline. Okay, the Jurassic Park timeline goes this now: Jurassic Park, the first one. Now Jurassic World. This is
what the heck?
This is exactly. This is after when Jurassic World. This is about like a decade after the Jurassic Park massacre.
Okay.
Where all the people died and stuff like that.
Okay.
But do they really need it? No. But Universal Studios needs that money.
Did it enhance the Jurassic Park experience? Did it push the universe forward?
It sells merch.
It does sell merch.
And it packs the line at Universal Studios for the Jurassic Park ride.
But this is my message.
And that's what it's doing.
That's what it is.
Exactly.
This is my message. Reboots financially, they're an assistance in so many ways and so many places.
Yeah.
I do a sequel to the biggest film ever. If I do another Harry Potter sequel.
Yeah.
I do another Harry Potter sequel.
Which they are doing.
They are doing.
Yeah.
but I do another Harry Potter sequel. What are the odds that someone catches this newest one and reads the books all over again? Because they just go backwards. They go, they go back to the books. We have the Harry Potter world. We have Harry Potter merchandise. We could throw in Harry Potter toys at Burger King. It just keeps going. But let's say we use a brand new franchise that hasn't been established, and we try to, like Sausage Party, even though that was a great film.
Welcome to Sausage Party Land, kids.
Exactly. I'm just saying, Sausage Party doesn't have the power. It doesn't have the name. It doesn't have the legacy that justifies it having its own world and a theme park.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that, like, Avalanche. I know, Avalanche. No, but you're saying, so with something as tried and true as something that's worked before in the past,
right?
It's going to target many more markets than it's going to do with the current new ideas.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly. I can agree with that.
Well, here's Hollywood. Like I said, this is Hollywood. Hollywood isn't, like I said, they're so desperate to work on things that already exist. Because if they already exist, let's say, I guess Terminator Genesis is perfect.
Yeah.
So Terminator Genesis comes out. It's a flop. It doesn't matter. Those upset fans are going to buy that brand new released Terminator disc set that has every Terminator film.
Ready this summer. If you thought Terminator 2 was done, you're dead wrong. Arnold Schwarzenegger is back with 17 live seconds of Terminator 2 you've never seen before. Watch Arnold Schwarzenegger order a hamburger for John Connor. What the hell's a cheeseburger? Terminator 2 Judgment Day. All with no script, baby. That is the Mark and Andre Show. Get the new 30-year DVD, Blu-ray, HD, DVD combo pack of Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
But that's what they'll do. With all new commentary from the director. I honestly don't remember what I did here, but I mean, it was an awesome scene, right?
I totally agree. You're a great director, James Cameron.
And they're just shaking hands the whole time.
I know.
Slapping five. But in all honesty, okay, so yeah, Terminator Genesis flops. Yeah. But they already released the DVD set at the same time that Genesis came out, so people are going to be pissed at this film, go backwards, and buy the rest of whatever made them feel good about the Terminator franchise. Totally Nobody loses here. But unfortunately, all right, so my point. Let's just get to my point.
No, hey man, this is actually you know what?
Let's just get
let's just get to it. I'm like beating around the bush.
Because this is the meat of the segment. Okay. This is we could take as long as we want. You're good.
I think he's trying to get to the point.
Though. I know. I think so. I think because he said it.
Let me just get to it, guys. So let me just I'm done.
Okay,
that was my point.
I get it.
I was going to say, hold on, the homie's about to leave dead air on this podcast.
No, but at the end of the day, Hollywood's, honestly, they're going to bank on a franchise that already exists.
Okay.
Period. And at this point, you're not going to see original ideas unless it's behind an actor or a writer or director that's also established. Okay. Seth Rogen got away with Sausage Party because he's established. They can do something like Seth Rogen. Boom.
Yeah, because they name all the actors that are in it.
If you have a pool, for marketing's sake, if you have a pool, they're going to show up. And if you throw out a familiar name, even if it's something that they forgot, the Nutty Professor is back, then you're going to go see it. You're going to see it out of curiosity. Oh, what's the Nutty Professor doing now?
You thought Eddie Murphy was done with the Haunted Mansion.
Big Mama's house crosses Medea.
And Nutty Professor.
In Rush Hour 5. Like, you didn't do anything.
So since we understand that, do we have a problem with
Big Mama's Professor.
Big Mama's Professor.
All right.
All that mashing just movies.
That effortless.
Big Mama's Professor 2. There's already a sequel to this movie that had no first movie. So I can. Okay, how about these rules?
Wait. What was your question?
Well,
he's mid chili dog. Sorry to interrupt.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, well, I was gonna say since we understand, we know why they're doing this the way they're doing it because of money and the big names. Do we have a problem with that? Or are we okay with that?
Well, with reboots, the problem that we have is that there's no original ideas to start off. We're not going to have our new Terminator because they're rebooting the old shit. Well, we need to let's have our new things now.
The Assassinator.
Like, exactly. Like, we need our own... Statham. Yeah, we need our own franchises to leave off for the next 20 years.
Exactly. I don't think we have a new franchise. Like, there's nothing brand new that's coming out that has lasting power.
What's the most recent franchise that's
like started and has continued?
Dude, I was this close to naming reboots. Because I was going to say Prometheus, but then Prometheus is
an offshoot of Alien.
Alien.
Wow. Dude, I'm trying to think of like a that's not based on a book.
Right.
That's not based on anything. That's like an original concept that started. And Jason Bourne, that's the most recent, the Bourne franchise.
Yeah, because but even if they do Undercover Brother too.
Dead serious look in his eyes, didn't blink once.
I don't know, Meet the Parents?
Meet the Parents, even that didn't last. It was a 3 and it was out.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I can't really think of a new franchise. I'm sure somebody right now is like texting or something. Somebody. But as far as I'm concerned, I can't think of anything.
Yeah,
everything is some type of rehashing, or it's based on a spin-off of something. Like even because the Planet of the Apes, or what was it?
Yeah.
Dawn of the
Strike of the Empire of the Planet of the Apes. Dude, they're gonna come with these names, and no, you're exactly right. Sorry to make everything a joke, but the Planet of the Apes, the new hit of that movie is now a rehash of the old Planet of the Apes,
exactly,
starring Charlton Heston,
exactly. And well, here's what I've been seeing too. I don't think there's many new franchises, but this is what's happening, and I'm kind of disgusted by it. But this is the move. They use an old franchise, bring it back, but they're actually making a movie that was something else. If you guys don't know this, they take a script from a film that they're like, this is a pretty good idea, but we just don't trust that it will work on its own. It won't hold its own weight. Yeah. So we're going to put it under the Star Wars name. No, well, no disrespect to Star Wars, and I'm not saying that's what happened. So
you're
with
like
Star
saying
Wars.
An intergalactic story, but they're like, you know what, this could work for Star Wars?
Exactly. So somebody writes a very original intergalactic script, and they go, man, I really would like this to be an original film, but people don't like that. So they put it under, like, let's go, what's a franchise that can tie perfectly with this script that we have?
Oh, wow.
And then they go, oh, wow, this is great. We have Guardians of the Galaxy. Those guys are interesting.
Same thing with The Departed. A lot of people don't know is that The Departed was actually based on a Japanese movie.
Yes. And then, okay, let's see. Oh, wait, no, that doesn't work. Because I was going to say Old Dog. Old Dog is actually... Spike Lee ended up doing it and ruined it, so I can't talk about that.
Man, that is a fun...
But yeah, it's a lot of us stealing stuff from other countries, taking stuff from an existing franchise, taking something and making it a sequel that's unnecessary.
The only one that I found was Fast and the Furious.
Okay. Dang. He's right.
Good.
You're right.
No, it is good.
You're right.
You know what? Fast and the Furious is now the most profitable franchise of all time.
Wow.
Because it has 8 fucking movies.
But even then, it's one of those series is like, okay, I guess we can't use that argument. Well, okay, look at the Star Wars franchise. How drastically did it change? It stayed consistent because it was telling one coherent story.
Yeah, as long as
you look at Fast and Furious, it is just, or whatever it's called right now, it was never, it's not consistent at all.
No, because
the next one could be a drama for all we know.
We went back, if you guys haven't tuned into the Fast and the Furious podcast that we did, we actually talked about what changed in the Fast and the Furious franchise to make it so profitable that it is today. What it basically is, and what it basically entails is that from the first Fast and the Furious, we're talking about street racing in Los Angeles, to Fast 6, to Fast 5, we're talking about heists. In Fast 5, heists in South America, mainly Brazil.
Right.
They take 2 Dodge Chargers and drag a safe out of a bank.
But logic is thrown out the window.
The rock.
But let's just say that it turns into a totally new franchise.
Exactly.
That's the only way it maintained its relevance, and that's
because it had
weird.
to tie into other elements that it can attract a global audience. Like I was telling you, the heist is something so attractive to worldwide audiences.
Right.
To everybody, and then you slap a franchise on that's relevant. Boom, you're making money.
Well, let's think about this. Do films need to have a sequel? No. I'll answer for you guys. Films don't need to have a sequel. So, like, okay, Now You See Me. I thought Now You See Me was a great film.
I heard good things about it.
Yeah, the first one, and then the second one was a disaster.
Yeah,
because they tried to keep going.
Yeah.
Whereas Now You See Me is just fine on its own, and it was a great film experience. And we can leave it alone. Let them make that small amount of money back. And I think they did get their money back. And let's go home. Let's just be done with it.
Same thing with The Prestige. The Prestige...
But that's Christopher Nolan.
You're right.
You can't use that. Okay, so here's an idea, right? Instead of putting $100 million into a film that you just assume will work, why don't you put $25 million into 4 unique films? And if you give it to these hungry directors that are indie, they will give you a phenomenal film.
That is why I have this guy on this podcast. This guy has ideas.
But it's a gamble.
You're right,
but it could work.
You're right, because it's like, you know what? Let's get 4 unique scripts to 4 hungry directors who
kill at Sundance,
who don't ask for mad money, versus giving 100 mil to Spielberg, giving 100 mil to, like, I don't know, Joel Schumacher,
right,
or whoever,
right,
and
stop expecting the name to lift the film. Like, okay, I'll let it go. We have Black Dynamite. Black Dynamite killed at Sundance, so much so that they moved it to theaters.
Yeah.
It killed in theaters on a very small budget. Small budget, directed by Michael Jai White, starring Michael Jai White.
I bought 2 tickets for Black Dynamite. Me and Yup went.
More play on Dynamite. Napoleon Dynamite, another film that was at Sundance. Sundance killed it. They moved it to theaters. And it killed.
Yeah.
It killed, and it was on a limited budget. They only shot in, one city. It's a small location, and they only had 1 camera.
They were in Idaho. The whole time. It was crazy.
And it's a cult film, classic.
Hilarious.
And it was just a single idea, and they kept it moving, right?
So, let's do this. So, if Hollywood wants to...
Right?
If Hollywood wants to make a certified blockbuster, can it follow by these 3 rules? And if it tries to deviate... We're thinking that it won't be as successful.
Okay.
Make it as real as possible. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Make it, in terms to the storyline and the plot, let's make it as real as possible according to the script.
Okay. As authentic and set in reality?
Exactly.
Okay.
At least 2 A-list celebrities.
Okay. Maybe
a combo of A-list celebrity and director.
Okay.
And then have a great trailer that doesn't spill the whole plot. Like even the Tom Cruise joint with Emily Blunt, where they keep Edge of Tomorrow.
Okay.
Idea.
Yeah.
Edge of Tomorrow was great. And honestly, that the protagonist could have been switched out. Like, you could even put Gerard Butler in that spot.
Right.
And it still would have been as successful because this idea was original.
Right.
Even with in terms of Interstellar. Mm-hmm. Same deal, It's like it still could have thrived in its respective spots, even if you played a switcheroo with different people. You don't necessarily need Matthew McConaughey, because Matthew McConaughey he doesn't really bring that mainstream appeal.
Right, he doesn't. They go McConaughey, that country dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, can I add
another? But it still was successful.
Can I add another?
Yeah.
Let the script remain what it was. Now, what's happening out there, because at one point I had a stint in my life where I tried to be a screenwriter.
Yeah.
What they do is you write a phenomenal script. Best example, Prometheus. Yeah. Prometheus was a very amazing script. It was phenomenal. It was like, man.
It didn't even need to be alien related.
Christopher Nolan levels of writing.
Yes.
They let tons of people rewrite the script.
Yeah.
Like, they let one group rewrite the script, and then they passed it to the director. Director didn't like a scene because he didn't feel like Ridley Scott didn't feel like it didn't fit what he wanted, so he ends up making changes, takes it to another person, they make changes. By the end of the film, you have just a mess.
I see the trailer more times than I see the movie.
Exactly.
That trailer...
But Suicide Squad is a great example, too.
Oh, yeah.
They had a phenomenal script, they said. It was perfect. And then they shot the film, and then they let their interests of what they saw in Hollywood taking place allowed them to go back and cut the film into little pieces that didn't make sense.
Yep.
So it's one of those things where it's like, just let your film be what it is and let it go. Like, imagine now if Black Dynamite had to go through a filter.
It wouldn't have been made. It wouldn't have gotten mainstream.
Or they would have cut certain scenes just because, I don't think the audience would appreciate you having sex with 3 women at the same time.
Oh yeah, he did do that.
Dumb stuff. But they wouldn't appreciate the concept and the idea. Just let the original idea be and gamble with that. Stop gambling with this formula you guys keep trying to create, and it never works.
Yeah. For people that...
What do you have to say, Isaiah?
I want
to
do some advertisement for Black Dynamite. If you guys haven't seen Black Dynamite is a perfect film to watch if you want to laugh. Because... it is.
It's a great way to describe a comedy.
It is.
If you feel like laughing,
because it's a parody on blaxploitation movies from the 1970s, mm-hmm. And it's very hilarious because the old filters are in. Mm-hmm. It looks like a movie from the 1970s, but you see
they have a 1970s style score and everything.
You see a very common character from the current times in Michael Jai White in it. Very hilarious,
fantastic film.
But nonetheless.
I haven't seen it.
It's funny. We might have to see it right after. Actually.
We have to just
but anyway, What I can tell you guys is this. With Hollywood remakes and like people trying to tag on to franchises, I think that we as far as people that are going to last about 30 years down the line, we're going to be missing out on like great original ideas. Hey, Isaiah, didn't you watch Terminator 17? More Judgment Day in the theaters? Like, or Star Wars 19? Like, we're going to get to that point where, like, a parody brought to us by Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future 2 when they had Jaws 19.
Right.
They weren't joking in context of that because maybe they were like, you know what, this might be a funny idea, but, like, no, we're dealing with...
It's happening.
What? We're dealing with the 7th episode in the Star Wars saga.
Mm-hmm.
And then even counting Star Trek from their seven Star Trek movies, now they have 10 because of the 3 that they made.
But they're smart. They don't number
Alien.
them. They don't number them anymore, though.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So
but
it's
even
just
with
subtitles,
the Alien franchise, the Terminator franchise, Fast 8, making a Fast 8 now.
Right. They're still going.
Let me ask you a question.
Mark,
regarding
by the
Star
way.
Wars, would you prefer them stay at the 3 movies that they had originally, or would you prefer now what they have is the episode 1, 2, 3, and then the last recent one?
I was comfortable when I was little watching Return of the Jedi, A New Hope, and The Empire Strikes Back. Those weren't actually in order at all.
Right.
But anyway, I was comfortable seeing all 3. I had no problem with it. I think Empire Strikes Back is a great film. I think A New Hope's a great film. Return of the Jedi is a little too campy for me. Someone should have died.
Dang.
Besides Vader. I think Han should have died, or Lando, or anybody. But anyway, these 3 were good for me because I needed something to attach to that was new. So I don't really blame George Lucas for making 3 more Star Wars movies that correlated with 6 and through 4. You know what I mean? I wanted to see young Anakin.
Well, here
but I didn't.
That's okay. That's the problem with the films. I'm sorry.
No.
Okay, so
the story isn't bad, but it's the
story
CGI
is
and the
bad.
bullshit is.
The story is bad because Star Wars 1, 2, and 3. He wrote those based on the opinion of the fans and didn't expand the universe and tie all the knots.
Jar Jar was his idea.
Jar Jar was his idea, and then midichlorians. You basically destroyed what made these people special.
Yeah, to make the Force quantifiable, I thought was bullshit.
That was a bad idea.
Who had more Force than anyone else? I thought that was bullshit.
And then he even said himself, he actually wrote, I believe, episode 2 and 3 to parallel episodes 5 and 6. So a lot of the beats are actually very similar for all 4 of those films.
Are you talking score-wise or story?
No, when I say beats, I mean the actual rhythms of scenes.
Okay.
So on a DVD, if you go to Chapter 5 will have an exact same outcome as Chapter 5 on Episode 6. It sounds like a bunch of numbers being...
Yeah, but I mean, are you talking in terms of because in location, they're not correct.
No, they're not. No, but he's saying to parallel their experiences.
Oh, okay.
You have a character lose an arm on the exact same episode. You have a character...
Oh, yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
I can see that.
And he's like, I did it that way so they can rhyme, like poetry. That's his exact line.
George Lucas is full of shit, man.
But the thing is, he wrote 1, 2, and 3 with the entire Vader story. Did you really think that was the best idea to expand the universe's story?
Well, I needed to see what happened before 4, 5, and 6 because they even labeled
in my opinion,
they even labeled them as 4, 5, and 6.
Right.
Let me find out what happened in 1, 2, and 3, and let's go from there. But I mean, as far as 7 and 8 and 9. Now we're dealing with the storyline that's 30 years different.
Right.
Because now they want to say, 30 years happened after the episode 6. So shit, let's do 30 years. Now we're episode 7, The Force Awakens.
Didn't they have another Death Star?
Yeah, the Star Killer base. Star Killer base.
Basically, dude.
So we had 3 Death Stars.
One thing I can tell you, and I'm sorry that this became like a Star Wars thing, but I'm excited for Rogue One. You and I saw the trailer,
Rogue One looks
and
great.
it's good to see Star Destroyers, and AT-ATs in modern day times,
and Darth Vader being back.
Oh yeah, because at the end they. was
And
like,
that's the only scene. He's like going to the bathroom.
He's all taking a piss.
Can you really, like in this whole franchise movie, can you replace Vader? Can you replace that guy?
Vader
he's such an
is
awesome villain.
And that's the first. That's one of the
He's
first.
like the icon.
I'll take that back.
Bad guy.
That is the
Villain.
first thing you think about as far as Star Wars, because you don't think about Luke Skywalker. You think about
Darth
Vader. I think.
So
about
is that
Vader.
why you think that George Lucas decided to go with the Anakin storyline?
That's what I was going to say.
Well, he had to. He had it because remember, you need to know who Vader was,
the
how
only
Vader
thing is,
started.
I don't like Episode 1. I feel like the kid kind of killed it.
Oh,
Yes.
he was an awful
Yeah,
actor.
I felt like he kind of ruined that. I like the pod racing. The pod racing idea
Yeah,
was cool.
I like the fact that he was the
You know?
only human that was able to do pod racing.
Yeah,
I thought that was
cool. I like the sounds of that, like like all these random. But
That sounds like my car
the
when
kid was
I need
the,
to change its oil.
The kid was the worst in that film, though. He
And
was
it
a
destroyed
badass.
the
Jibba
experience.
dabba dabba,
And
Watto.
you know what?
But-
Even the second actor in the episode 2 and 3,
Hayden Christensen.
Hayden Christensen.
his chemistry with the girl was like, you know,
I
Oh
am-
no, that was the most
Real weird.
forced.
I am in
the
love,
most
Padme.
yeah.
I love you, but I'm in love with you.
Yeah.
But I love your love. And then it's
Cut!
like,
What the hell was that?
you wrote it.
So
yeah.
let's get off this Star Wars tangent here.
All right,
No,
fine.
but nonetheless, no, I definitely agree with your guys' point that I entirely forgot. The next thing that we're going to talk about here on the Mark and Andre and Isaiah podcast, the only film, entertainment, and conspiracy show podcast on Spreaker.com.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get the commercials out of the way. I think we're going break free. You guys okay with that?
Yeah, let's do a break, man.
Okay.
Let's go, man.
Tonight's Mark and Andre podcast show is brought to you by none other than my proud sponsor, Game Swappers. Game Swappers, buy, sell, and trade your retro games and next-gen consoles. That's PS4 and Xbox One. You can come into contact with Game Swappers via Instagram at GAMESWAPPERS. That's GAMESWAPPERS. Game Swappers, buy, sell, and trade. Keep in mind, guys, that if you do share any which of the Mark F Podcast channel podcast, which includes Retro Collecting 101, the Mark and Andre podcast channel, or the Pay-Per-View Wrestling podcast, you'll be able to get 10% off towards your retro games, or 10% more towards your retro game trade-ins. Simply take a screenshot, share, and show the people on staff at Game Swappers or online via DM, and you'll be able to get 10% off towards your retro game purchases, or 10% more towards your retro game trade-ins. One more reminder, guys, that this Sunday from 12 to 7 p.m. is Retro Respect at the Finish Line Sports Bar and Grill at Pomona, California by the Fairplex. You'll be able to buy, sell, and trade with 20-plus vendors from 1 to 7 p.m. So if you have, Andre, like a bunch of systems and games you want to trade away for cash,
What?
or trade away to other people for games that you want,
Yeah.
you'll be able to do it
I didn't-
at the Retro Respect event.
This whole time?
Yes, indeed.
I didn't know that. Seriously.
Well, now you're in line. It's the same place you had the bar where they had the barcade, and you
Oh.
actually killed it in Smash Brothers.
Yeah, the service there was incredible, by the way.
The Finish Line Sports Bar and Grill. Anyway, guys, that ends the commercials there. I want to let you guys know is that our last segment of the night
It's deep.
is something that came to my attention via Andre, and it kind of makes sense. It some key points can be made with this effect, the Mandela effect, and I'll let Andre take control of what the Mandela effect is. How did it get its name?
Okay, so the Mandela effect was originally conceptualized after the recent passing of Nelson Mandela in 2013.
Yeah.
Nelson Mandela ended up passing away, and a number of people said, wait, again?
Yeah.
Nelson Mandela died
In jail. Yeah.
in the 80s, I believe.
Yes.
And I was actually one of those people as well. I remember being a child and having, family members going, oh my God, I can't believe he passed away, and all this drama.
Yes.
And then, years later, I see a big billboard while I'm driving, and it goes, rest in peace, Nelson Mandela. And I was like, more? Like, he died some more? Like, I didn't understand. So I was like,
this summer.
that's Nelson very Mandela strange.
Dies again from the grave.
They dug him back up and they checked his pulse. Oh my God, he's dead!
again.
He's dead!
He's dead again.
Call his family. We need to have a funeral. So, based on that, I mean, there have been smaller instances, but this was a glaring one. And that's why became the Mandela effect, because the number of people that remember him dying back in the 80s is astounding.
So this is a play between two people who believe in the Mandela effect, actually believe that two parallel Earths
exist.
Two parallel timelines of Earth are actually intertwining and editing our present time.
Well, there's a number of theories. So, I mean, we could list out the theories and then we'll start going into like actual changes that maybe you guys can help us out with.
Yeah.
So, so far we've got some people suggesting that, there are actually two Earths and they're on different like parts of the galaxy.
Yeah.
And one is a mirror of the other. And this is actually something that happened in Futurama.
Yeah.
So, there's two Earths and they are almost 100% the same, except for small little details. That's all it is. So where I would have moved my left hand, maybe the Andre on the other Earth moved his right hand.
Or he'd be right-handed.
Yeah,
or
something like something like just a small change. Or like instead of me wearing this hat, I'm wearing a beanie. Like just one small change. And some people are believing that we are somehow like either crossing each other or we're somehow merging. Yeah. There are others that believe that there are like time travelers. Mm-hmm. Like there are people actually going back in time and affecting
editing the past.
And then
but that wouldn't support the double Earth timeline.
It wouldn't support the double Earth timeline thing. And then the last one is people are just having false memories. Like straight up, just like these are the wrong memories and they don't know how that's possible, but somehow people are managing to have false memories. So I'll just start with some small, like, weird shifts, and maybe you guys can... I mean, because if you guys don't know either, like, if you're... I don't know if you... Yeah, communicate with us and let us know. Yeah. Do you guys recall Nelson Mandela dying in jail? And if you don't, then, that's cool with you. He could have died in 2013, but to my knowledge, I had an experience of him passing away in 2013. So one glaring one, we were just actually talking about Star Wars. One of the changes that a lot of people believe have taken place is, let's think about the most famous line from Darth Vader to Luke Skywalker. And a lot of people say it's, Luke, I am your father. Right?
Right.
A lot of people went with that. People have referenced that. It's been in movies. It's still in movies. Yeah. And people still talk about it. The actual line is, no, I am your father. So if you watch the film, the line is him saying, "No, I am your father," and then yeah, exactly. And there's actually footage of a guy. There's a guy. He pulled out a VHS in his attic. He's like, I've watched this film 700 plus times. He watches it, gets to that scene, and he hears him say, "No, I am your father," and he freaks out. He says, I know this movie, the entire script, all the way through. He says, "Luke, I am your father." James Earl Jones has been seen multiple times in interviews saying, "Luke, I am your father." But for some reason, if you watch the film, he says, "No, I am your father." I was like, okay, cool. A lot of people claim that, okay, that's just somebody misheard the line, and we're having some mishaps here. But here's a glaring one now that's recently just been discovered. The robot CP3O, everybody knows him to be all gold, correct?
C3PO.
C3PO.
Right.
C3PO is all gold, correct?
Right.
That's wrong. He has a silver leg.
Apparently he has a silver leg.
He has a silver leg. Look it up right now.
C3PO
C3PO has a silver right leg.
He does not have
He's always had a silver right leg, and apparently it's always been this way. Ever since the beginning. C3PO, if you guys go on Google right now, look up C3PO, he has a silver right leg, if I'm correct.
Yes.
And a lot of people are trying to like figure this crap out, and they don't understand. Yeah. So, what do you guys think about that? Oops, what do you guys think about that? Do you recall C3PO being entirely gold?
And that's a funny thing. That's a funny thing you bring up, because speaking of action figures, I'm going to nerd out too. After Kenner released their 1980s versions of the Star Wars toys, I actually went out with the I don't know if Playmates made them, but Star Wars Power of the Force collection came out, and I wanted a C3PO figure. Mm-hmm. He was all gold. Right. I remember tossing his ass in the microwave.
Right.
I remember his ass being all gold.
And then, okay, so a lot of toys are still all gold. And they say the reason for that is because companies wanted to take shortcuts and just spray it all gold.
Oh, because making his leg silver would have cost so many on the assembly line.
Exactly, because you have to stop it and then find a new way to paint the leg. So they said that's why people think that he's always been entirely gold. But that's BS. I've always known him to be entirely gold.
Yes.
So that's another one for you. How many of you guys are familiar with Mirror, Mirror on the Wall, Who's the Fairest of Them All from Snow White?
Yeah.
That's not it. It's Magic Mirror on the Wall, Who's the Fairest of Them All. That's new.
Yeah,
No.
That's never been the case, but that's what it is. And I watched the film, and then I play Kingdom Hearts. So on Kingdom Hearts, she's also prevalent, and you have to fight the magic mirror, or the mirror. And she says magic mirror in the game. And I have a direct memory of Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. Like, because
exactly.
people used it and referenced it in films. I've heard this so many times that it's like embedded in my mind. And it's Magic Mirror on the Wall, Who's the Fairest of them all. Yeah. And let's see. Everybody,
and that makes you think, it's like, well,
how'd that happen?
Who's, in terms of, if you want to actually be all skeptical and conspiratorial about it, you can actually assume that someone is actually going back in time, changing the timeline so much that it affects our subconscious instantly.
But it's a minute shift. Like,
it's
so small.
And he could, he or she, whoever's affecting time, could do something way more drastic.
Right.
Than just, I'm going to tweak the Star Wars movies.
That's dumb, right? It's stupid as hell.
Extremely.
So that's why a lot of people...
it's a bit stretch.
Just, I was watching this thing on Netflix, and it pertains to this, and it's talking about the mind and stuff, how the mind works, and it talks about humans, how we tend to focus. We have a tunnel vision on our attention.
Yeah.
We focus on one thing, and when we focus our attention on one thing, we miss a lot that's happening.
Surrounding detail.
That's actually happening.
Right.
We're seeing. So in this case, I picture it the same way as we're focusing maybe on something and we're missing what's actually happening in front of us.
And that's fine. But I'm going to hit you with big ones in a second.
Exactly.
We're just starting small.
Andre has the whole
I
list.
have a punch for you guys. So we're just going to take it small. We're going to do easy shit like movies. So how many guys are familiar with the line from Forrest Gump, "Life is like a box of chocolates"?
Yes.
That's not the line. That's wrong.
What do you mean that's not the line?
What?
The line is, my mama
line.
always said life was like a box of chocolates. That's not right. It's never been life was like a box of chocolates.
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Why would your mother speak in the past tense if you're doing a present tense quote?
Yeah.
So if I'm chilling with you, like, hey, don't trip, dog. Life was like a box of chocolates.
I'm like, yeah, that's kind of wrong.
Exactly. So that's different. If you watch the film, he literally says life was like a box of chocolates. Apollo 13, Houston, we have a problem, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's for sure. You know that line.
I know it's.
You've heard that so many times.
I'll watch it again right now.
Watch it again, and your head will hurt. It's Houston. We've had a problem. Yeah, exactly. That doesn't make sense. That's completely different from what we remember. So that's not the same. Are you familiar with the film Interview with a Vampire? Have you heard that name before?
No.
No. Okay, never mind.
The one with Christian Slater, Brad Pitt.
All right, have you heard there was a reward ceremony and
go with the Interview with the Vampire.
Okay, so
you have to.
An Interview with a Vampire is not the actual name anymore. It's Interview with the Vampire.
Interview with the Vampire.
Completely shifted. Sex in the City. Do you remember that name?
Yeah.
Sex in the City. I'm going to say it one more time. Sex in the City. That's how you remember it?
Right.
It's Sex and the City now. Does that even make sense?
How do you have...
Oh, this one I caught.
You caught that one.
Yeah,
so that doesn't make sense anymore.
Sex and the City.
Right. And these are small one, guys. We're about to get...
How does that sound sensical within a show? Like, how are you trying to pitch that to, like, TV execs? Oh, I have a show for you guys. It's called Sex and the City.
Right.
That doesn't have no ring to it.
Whenever
Sex
I
in the
hear
City.
people talk about it, they would say
Sex in the City.
But
right.
when I saw it on, like, Cable Guide, it was Sex and the City.
The Cable Guy?
Cable Guide. Yeah, it
Cable
was
Guide.
Sex and the City.
He means the TV guide for all you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't mean the Cable Guy.
The Cable Guy?
When I saw the Cable Guy.
When I saw the Cable Guy, I knew then it was Sex and the City.
All right, so the Ford logo. Are you familiar with the Ford logo?
Yeah.
You know how the Ford
good.
logo is. It's just
we
a
got
capital
that.
FORD, right?
Yeah, it's on lock.
That's it.
That's it.
Now it's a capital F with a curly tail. The F is affected. So the F where the middle line is, it's a pigtail. Do you remember that?
Go into the O?
Yeah. No, it's an F with a pigtail F-O-R-D.
I have to look that.
Look it
See,
up. Ford logo. Just type in Ford
the
logo.
thing with new logos is that they can actually...
No, but this has been the logo forever. They show you all the old versions of it, and it's still that little curly tail. Never been there before, but now all of a sudden it's there.
So you're saying the F was entirely separate of the O?
Yes. Do you see that? Is that familiar? Do you
No,
see that?
it's not familiar.
Let me see.
Right. Okay,
check that
what
out.
about the Volvo logo? Do you know the Volvo logo? It's just a circle and the word Volvo, right?
Yeah.
Nope, it's the male symbol now. It's a Volvo with an arrow picking out of it.
The Volvo symbol... Wait,
The
what
Volvo symbol is different. So if you look at the Volvo logo,
Yeah,
you remember it as just a circle and Volvo in the middle, right?
yeah.
No, that's not what
There's
it is.
those two...
No, it's a circle with the male arrow pointing out at the top right. That's the new Volvo symbol. Out of nowhere. And it's always been that.
Wow.
Always. Do you remember that?
I don't
That's
remember
not
that.
a new logo. This has always been the logo.
I don't
apparently.
remember that.
Right. Doesn't make sense. The Mandela effect, like these effects were originally minute. Like it was only the
Yeah.
Berenstain Bears, right?
Oh,
That was
yeah.
it was the Mandela dying and then Berenstain Bears.
Oh,
So-
I want to bring attention to that because one of our viewers, Stephen Pacheco, actually wanted us to bring attention to this.
Mm-hmm.
When I was growing up, I knew it for sure being the Bernstein Bears.
Berenstein being spelled...
But now it's Berenstain, as in like a stain on your shirt.
Where it was Berenstein. That's how I used to read it because I used to do Hooked on Phonics and I was forced to read like 4 hours a day. And I always read the Berenstain Bears. And I would always read it Berenstein, like Frankenstein. This is my memory.
Exactly.
I know it's that. And apparently it's always been Stain. And they even asked the Berenstein's son, like, well, what is it spelled for real? And he's like, everybody's been getting that wrong. It's always been A-I-N. Always. And people have been going to their homes, like, let me go into my attic.
To get VHS tapes. I can go into my...
VHS tapes, they're old Berenstain Bears books, and they're all A now. So how do you explain that? Is it just parallel universes? So we're about to get heavy, guys. We're about to move into some bigger stuff. But one more...
Berenstain Bears was already pretty
like...
You know what? No, and it's funny, too, because not a lot of people in this demographic... Well, our demographic will know about the Berenstain, the Berenstain Bears.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, people beforehand won't know because...
They won't know. It's just a fairy tale
These
book.
books
Or
were legit.
like-
to me,
they're great books.
I
love them.
like the books.
All right, so there's so many. There's like hundreds, but I'm just trying to condense
just
it.
get
so
to the-
Chick-fil-A. Are you guys familiar with Chick-fil-A?
Yep.
The way you make it sound phonetically,
Chick-fil-A, right?
Chick-fil-A.
Right. Spelled C-H-I-C
phonetically.
Filet, right? It's Chick-fil-A with a K now. All of a sudden, there's a K on it. There's never been a K. It's been Chic-fil-A. That's how people pronounced it originally. Chic. Chic-fil-A. Now it's Chick-fil-A, like chicken. But no one has a record of it being anything other than that. Now you're going to look. All right, okay, another one. These are just small things, though. That's what's so frustrating. Are you familiar with Jiffy peanut butter?
Yeah.
There is no such thing as Jiffy peanut butter. It's Jif. It's always been Jif. There's no such thing as Jiffy peanut butter. But you remember Jiffy, right?
Yeah. No, but and then you know what? I do remember people saying it's Jiffy. It's Jiffy, but I mean, I remember the old saying, "Choosy moms choose Jif." Mm-hmm. I remember Jif.
Okay, so then it could be
You know,
Jif.
it's teetering on that, but a lot of people would call it Jiffy.
What about Fruit Loops? How is fruit spelled?
F-R-U-I-T?
Nope, it's F-R-O-O-T, Loops.
Yeah, and that's what really
When
got
did that
me.
happen? That's always been the case.
Fruit.
F-R-O-O-T, Loops.
I kind of just skipped that.
Yeah, I just poured it into my cereal at that point.
Hey, it's one of, but that's what I'm saying. These are such minute changes.
Exactly.
It's not worth anything.
And you know what?
That's why people try to disprove it because it's so stupid.
That's the unfortunate thing about the Mandela effect is that, you know what? It could be people cross-tying parallel Earths together.
Right.
Or it could be just our to quote the Ghetto Boys, our minds playing tricks on us.
So, all right. Enough of the small stuff.
Yeah.
Let's just go for the big
go to
hits.
big league
Let's
shit.
go to the big league shit. The world map is entirely different. Mm-hmm. So
You were telling me this earlier.
I showed Mark, and I think I scared him. If you guys are familiar in our memories that we, what we remember, South America was directly under North America.
Remember that? Isaiah, you remember that.
So South America is no longer directly under North America.
Keep in mind-
it is under Florida. South America starts under Florida.
Keep in mind that we were old enough to realize that the Soviet Union was still in our history books for a long time.
Right.
We were able to see USSR, so I mean our books were pretty dated.
Check the world map, man.
And the world map
South
shows
America
that
is
South America
completely shifted
is
to the
not
right.
directly under
It is
North America.
It's not even close to under North America like that.
Which kind of explains when I went to Costa Rica, I was like, well, why is this a 7-hour flight?
Right. It's completely out of whack. I don't understand what's going on. Australia is now like a ferry ride from Papua New Guinea, which is wrong.
Yeah.
Australia was extremely distant from Papua New Guinea. It was its own isolated island.
The thing I noted too is that Africa is not as big.
It's not nearly as big as it used to be.
And I think that is white culture never trying to make Africa as big as it is, because Africa can fit most of the 3 other continents around it.
Right. And then if you look at Alaska is pretty much eye shot away from Russia now. Mm-hmm. That is not right. That is not accurate based on our memories.
Yeah.
Russia used to be quite a distance away from Alaska, but you can basically catch a quick ferry ride.
Yeah, I could throw a rock in. I could throw a rock in Alaska and hit USSR.
Exactly.
Russia.
It is within eyesight. Greenland is about 2 times larger than it's ever been. Greenland is so large.
I don't understand that. Like,
just type in world map. And it's so huge that it's like, how does anyone not notice this?
Yeah.
So there have been people around the world in different countries saying, this part of the map is not what it used to be. This country is way smaller than it's supposed to be.
So let me even quote this one story that has been documented over time. Is a man in 1954 arrived in an airport in Japan and can swear up and down that he was from a country called Tuareg. Mm-hmm. And he even displayed it with driver's license and passports from the country of Tuareg. Mm-hmm. And he was upset when he actually came down and found out that he couldn't find his country on the map.
Right.
We might, at that point,
but let's not forget, they locked him up. They arrested him because they thought, okay, well, you're just lying.
Yeah.
I think the next morning or a couple days afterwards, he disappeared completely.
Yeah.
They couldn't.
So that could have been interference in parallel dimensions.
Could have been.
You know,
and I mean, look at the distance of Australia to the next. Papua New Guinea's right here. Australia used to be way down here.
Yeah. Kind of next to Antarctica.
And you see where Greenland is? That giant chunk that it is now, there used to be the North Pole. That's where the ice caps used to be. Right, They're not there anymore.
Yeah.
So, and if that's not enough for you guys, this is my last punch in the face, and I won't hit you in any more because it's just it's kind of a big deal to me. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
The human anatomy has changed drastically.
Where does and I'll go into what you're saying too, because I want to chime on this too. Your stomach, when your stomach rumbles, where does it hit you?
Where my belly is.
Right here, right where the belly button is.
Right. That's where my belly is. That's where my stomach is.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel full, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly where my stomach is. So guys, rub your belly and pretty much around your belly button, that should be where your stomach is.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
And for all of you out there, just envision in your mind at this very moment, what do your intestines look like? Your small intestines. Just think about it. If you've always looked at the human anatomy, you would hopefully assume that, it's in a very organized zigzag pattern, almost like a line at an amusement park.
Yeah.
It's organized in an up and down fashion. Google the human anatomy. It's all different. Your stomach is on the right side of your body, above your intestines, and your liver is 2 times its size and it's next to the stomach.
Yeah.
That is not right. And the intestines are just a jumbled mess. They're not even in the zigzag pattern anymore. How do you explain that? It's entirely different. Also, that's just the organs.
Yeah.
If you look at the skeletal structure, it's completely shifted as well. We now have 2 new ribs. We have ribs that are placed behind our spine that don't connect to the rib cage itself.
Yeah.
It just pokes out of the side. So you have 2 more ribs after your rib cage.
Yeah.
And they're below the rib cage and they point they're like small little tiny ribs.
Yeah.
And then your collarbone is actually not attached to your shoulder bones anymore. Or the pivot point of your shoulder, it's actually detached. The human skull is now a totally different shape. It's not that rounded, smooth shape that it is anymore. It's actually a concave, altered and bent shape.
Oh, wow.
And the eye sockets are a totally different shape compared to what we are familiar with. So if you guys Google a skeleton right now, like look up the human skeletal anatomy, and if you look up the organs of a human right now, it'll be something you've never seen before.
Wow.
Something that you cannot familiarize with.
So, I mean, how does something like this happen? Like, what, it's just a slip on the human mind?
That's something that I really can't pinpoint because there are, somebody had a great analogy for this experience of the Mandela effect.
Yeah.
It's like, you purchase a shirt. You love this shirt. It's blue with yellow stripes. And you've been wearing this shirt for like 10 years. Mm-hmm. It's your favorite shirt.
Yeah.
You wore it at least 3 times a month.
Yeah.
For 10 years straight.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you pull that same shirt out of the closet and it's yellow and white. The stripes are white. And your friend tells you, what are you talking about? That's always been the color of your favorite shirt. How do you explain that? That's exactly what the Mandela effect is. And some people are freaking out big time, whereas I'm like, I mean, what are you going to do? Who are you going to call? You just got to like deal with it.
Once it's been edited like that, you can't really...
All right,
it's not really an issue to where it's like it's affecting your everyday life. You're only talking about your favorite movies.
But it's like things are changing that... And it's probably
something that we're used to all the time.
Something that you've encountered like a lot, and you just think, oh, that was a brand change that they did, right?
Yeah.
Like the Volkswagen symbol. Do you remember the V and the W being separate? The V and the W used to be connected.
You talking about Volkswagen?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So the Volkswagen system, there's a little slit in the middle now that separates the V to the W. But there are so many people in the world that go, that's never been the case. Yeah. And there have even been people that said, I work at the Volkswagen factory. I've been working here for 20 years, and suddenly all the symbols changed, and I don't know what happened. And nobody addressed it. Nobody said anything. Wow. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if we're blending two dimensions, if we're blending two realities.
Or if one reality is taking more precedence than the other.
Or are our memories really something that was wrong? That's the worst part. Like, can I not trust my own memories? And then when you hear iconic lines that you know for a fact
you build it,
over and
he
over
will
and
come.
over.
If you build it, we will come.
Right. That's been changed, and that makes no sense, right? It makes no sense to the context of what the scene was about.
Yeah, because it's one person saying it.
Exactly.
Instead of a group of people in the background.
And like I said, guys, there's like hundreds of these. We don't even have time to go over... there are some that are even more drastic than the ones I just shared.
Yeah,
but it's not worth it. It's
not even
worth
in terms of movies, but we're talking about in terms of history. Take one thing, the
JFK. All right, so I'm sorry. Is your mind
Isaiah's
blown?
still here, by the way.
Isaiah's shivering in a corner right now, guys. So, all right, we don't need to do any more.
This will be the last one.
This will be the last one. But do the research yourself, and you will kind of like. You'll be like, what the hell? I don't know. And there's nothing you can do about it, so just continue your life. Don't freak out. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
So,
don't freak out. Yeah. There's nothing you can do about this.
Your human anatomy is different. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Your stomach's in your fucking, next to your heart now.
Yeah.
All right, so the last one. If you guys are familiar with the JFK assassination, and I'm sure a lot of you are because there's been tons and tons of conspiracies attached to the JFK story. If you just think about this right now, don't Google shit. What car did JFK get killed in? It was a black convertible 4-seater.
Yeah.
There were 4 people in the car, and JFK was killed by mysterious circumstances, some type of magic bullet.
Yeah, a magic bullet that was fired by one gunman.
One gunman somehow.
In the splits, in 7 seconds time.
Right.
Totally happy. Yeah,
totally. That's exactly what you guys remember. You guys are bored with me.
We covered it in a different podcast.
Yeah, we covered that. That's old news. Well, guess what? JFK was killed in a 6-man limo. Yep. A 6-seater limo. And JFK was killed in a 6-seater limo, and the footage now... Based on what we are seeing today, you can look up any JFK.
It's crazy, too, because we're looking back at it, it's like, wow.
Me and Mark watched tons of JFK assassination footage, as disturbing as it is. Now, if you watch the JFK assassination, the blood splatter's different. The way his head pops is a bit different. It now looks like his wife shot him.
No.
So now it started a new theory. They have a new theory.
Saying that Jackie shot him?
They think Jackie shot him from under his chin. because the blood splatter changed. The blood splatter shoots a direct line from the bottom of his neck upward, and then she they show it in slow motion.
Then she tries to pick his brains.
But they show it in slow motion. It looks like she shot him from under his head and then tucked a gun behind his back. Seriously, watch the footage again.
Wow.
It completely changed. If you guys remember, it was a 4-seater. It was a 4-seater.
Yeah.
Now it is a 6-seater, and nobody has an explanation.
So now it's a driver, and then his other bodyguard, then Connolly and his wife probably.
Yes.
And then Jackie and JFK.
Yes.
Wow.
And now Isaiah's watching.
Who
are these 2 extra people, huh? When did they get in the car? When did this become a 6-seat? But here's another crazier part about this whole debacle.
Yeah.
We are now seeing what is known as residuals. These are residual fragments of our memories. So there are people that have actually managed to, let's say, another example, guys. I hope you guys aren't freaking out. Yeah. So another example is if you're familiar with Queen's song Champions. We are the champions. So at the end of the song is, we are the champions of the world. That's how he ends the song.
That's very impressive.
Yeah, thank you. I've been practicing. Good. So that's how the song ends. Listen to it now. That doesn't exist. That part of the song doesn't exist anymore. But there have been a number of hip hop producers that sampled that very part of the song, and it still exists.
Has that.
So it still exists in their samples. The Luke, I Am Your Father, it still exists in, I think, The Cable Guy or maybe Liar Liar. Jim Carrey is doing Luke, I Am Your Father into a fan. And he says it exactly the same. And there's a number of...
James Earl Jones does it, too.
James Earl Jones himself.
He does it in a couple of interviews.
And there's a number of, it's residual. So there's another film out there that has somebody reviewing a Bernstein Bears book or something. And he's reviewing it. It's old, though. It's a very old, some old footage. And everything's spelled the right way. And then also newspapers. Somebody actually did the research on all the newspapers, from the 50s or something, all the way to the 2000s. And they're the Bernstein Bears were spelled with an E.
Stein.
Yeah, all the way till 2000. Then once 2000 hit, it all switched to A. Wow. So, I don't know. They're saying there's residuals, if you see something sampled or recreated. There's even some people that say that there was another mass of land to the left of Australia. A giant mass of land. And they say if you watch, I forgot what film it was, I think Dazed and Confused. If you watch Dazed and Confused, they're holding a globe. They're chilling with a globe, and the globe shows that missing piece of land next to Australia.
Fucking
so there's
Atlantis.
a lot of
Jesus Christ.
So who knows what's going on? But at the end of the day, it's one of those things where it's okay.
This is something to point out.
Yeah, it's this is something to pay attention to, but I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, let's conclude. Let's try to find a conclusion to what we're experiencing.
Yeah. So,
is this us having false memories? But you mean to tell me that my memory of me constantly having to read a Bernstein Bear book is wrong? You can't tell me that. I remember saying it wrong on purpose.
And you and I both, because I remember saying the Bernstein Bears.
I know what my fucking organs look like, right?
Yeah.
I know what my organs look like.
Well...
maybe I did it.
And
what does a doctor have to say?
There's iconic lines that really play into me that I know now are not a part of history.
That doesn't make sense, right?
It confuses me.
It does. And then the fact of the matter is these iconic lines or these iconic quotes end up getting repeated in other films. But then people just say,
and it keeps going on.
Exactly.
And now, wait, hold on. Why are we wrong?
Well, here's even another subtle one, just to prove a point.
Yeah.
The don't sign, the restrictive sign, the sign that prevents you, no smoking, the no smoking symbol, right? How do you remember it? Just think of it right now.
It's a cross symbol of the smoke.
Where does the line go through?
Through the cigarette?
It goes to the cigarette, but from what direction? Top left to top right?
Top right down.
All right. It's backwards now. So it's from top left to bottom right. It's backwards. Wow. But the residual is the Ghostbuster symbol. The Ghostbuster symbol is still right. But if you go anywhere...
That's our last bastion of hope is the fucking Ghostbuster symbol?
The Ghostbuster symbol, man. So anywhere else you go, though, if you see a no smoking sign, a no alcohol sign, the anti-sign to that is actually backwards.
Andre, I definitely appreciate you bringing this to light because it's...
No, honestly, I lost sleep on this.
And
so
and it did to me because I was like, wait,
there's
hold
hundreds
on.
of these.
There's The Field of Dreams I watched. Jaws. We're gonna need a bigger boat.
Need a bigger boat.
You're gonna need a bigger boat?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense anymore, right?
What? He's in the fucking boat. It's a collective effort for him to say, we're going to need a bigger boat.
And it's an iconic line that everybody knows.
Jeez.
You're going to need a bigger boat. That doesn't make sense anymore. And these changes, right?
Are so subtle.
They're so subtle, but they actually fuck up the meaning of whatever they're talking.
Right.
No, I am your father. It sounds wrong. It doesn't even feel right anymore. And you know it's Luke, I am your father. That's why it's hurting you, because it's like, why is it different?
You know what? I think I even watched the episode recently of Vader saying that,
And you went,
and I
"That's
even
not
kind of
right."
like was like, "What? That's different." But I didn't think about it. I just kept moving on. Like, nah, it's still Luke. I am your father. Like, I kind of just forgot about it.
No, because that's what happened to me. Because when I worked at Amazon, I'm surrounded by brands.
Yeah.
And a lot of the
you actually revealed where you worked.
Yeah,
This
so
was the first time.
A lot of the I did. Huh? Yeah, so a lot of places a lot of logos. I saw logos all day, every day.
You would pick a lot.
Right. So now, at one point or another, like the Fruit Loops thing, I was like, was it always spelled Frot? Oh, whatever, and just kept going. Oh, this symbol didn't have that on it, or this little part. The Coca-Cola didn't have that on it. They changed the Coca-Cola symbol. They changed the Pepsi symbol in certain parts.
Yeah,
they're just minute changes though. Yeah. Double stuffed Oreos. Do you remember double stuffed Oreos?
Yeah,
that's how I'm saying it, right? Double stuffed.
Yeah,
double stuffed. It's just double stuff with one F. When did that happen?
How does that make sense?
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Two things. Like double stuff?
Yes. A lot of stuff doesn't make sense anymore. Lazy Boy. Do you remember Lazy Boy?
Yeah.
It's L-A-Z Boy now. But it was L-A-Y-Z Boy. Just one letter's gone. Why does that happen? Chick-fil-A, they just added one letter. Why? That's so minute. It doesn't mean anything.
Let's close off this Mark and Andre podcast. I want to...
It's so minute.
Exactly.
It means so much.
I want to thank you guys for tuning in, because
it should be changed, period.
It got really intense during this show. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Wow, that is a lot to take in. Please feel free to rewind it. I don't know, fast forward, do whatever.
Do the research yourself, guys. I'm not telling you that what I'm saying is law, but do the research yourself.
I want to leave the floor to Andre Gaynor for his shameless promotion on Lyricology 101.
Shameless promotion time. If you guys are still with us. I am a hip-hop instructor. I actually teach and analyze hip-hop music. If you guys would like to get in contact with me, I have a YouTube channel. You can reach me at youtube.com/Andre Gaynor, ANDREGAINER. All of my social media information is there. Basically, the channel takes very popular hip-hop songs and I analyze them at a highly intellectual level, almost into a scientific manner. And if you guys are interested in the intricacies of hip-hop music, then you'll definitely learn something, I promise. So far, we're about to hit 11,000 subscribers, hopefully by tomorrow. So if you guys are watchers, if you guys do the Mark and Andre podcast and you watch the channel, please leave a comment and say I'm from the Mark and Andre channel, Mark and Andre podcast. I would love you guys, man. I'll comment to you. I'll write back to you guys. So if you guys are interested, check us out there. Thank you so much for listening. A lot of blown minds are in the room right now. A lot of people are kind of shocked.
Who am I?
What's happening?
What's life?
So have a wonderful day or night, and don't worry about the bullshit, man. Just have a great day. We love you guys. Thank you so much.
Isaiah, I want to thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for coming in. Andre, I want to thank you for showing up again. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Mark and Andre podcast show. Thank you for tuning in.
Bye.